on? We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons is what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
All right, we got everybody here. I'm gonna start out with a quick recap from last session. You had finished your quest for the Sun Sword at the stronghold of Argynbostholt and had delved back into the forest, making your way north with the destination of the ruined city of Berez. Along the way, you did battle with a giant snowy white creature along with a handful of wild men from the forest wielding great axes, which some of you looted off the bodies after you defeated them. You continued north, and as the cold weather set in, you had equipped yourself with wolf hides and, from the fallen wild men. You had taken a pelt from this giant creature. Marzen had drank a beard grow oil and had grown a thick mat of wolf-like hair on his entire body, having shaved a little bit off of his face so he could at least see. As you ventured north, you actually encountered a second of these white furry creatures, this one seemingly injured possibly by the wild men, you're not sure, but laying just alongside the pathway. And in a spirit of altruism, Marzen approached the creature and healed it, enough that it was able to make its way back into the forest and disappear. As you continued north, you found yourself crossing a set of wolf tracks that you determined were actually werewolf based on the fact that you could tell that it was walking on 2 legs rather than 4. You crossed these tracks a couple of times as you headed north, eventually spotting, Mara, a small piece of red fabric sort of emerging from the snow cover, and pulling it up, you found a small child-sized cloak, crimson red in color, tattered and worn and ragged. You grabbed it and put it in your pack, hoping to maybe reunite it with its owner, and you continue north, finally making your way to the Svalich Road, emerging onto a much more well-traveled thoroughfare, considering the path that you were making through the dense forest. Once emerging onto this roadway, you encountered a pair of hunters, Ivan and Stregobor, who welcomed you to their campfire as night set in. They talked with you about your origins a bit, talked with you a bit about the curse of lycanthropy and the legend and lore of the Ladies Three, with special emphasis on the huntress. You were able to also get a little bit of an update on some of the local settlements, Kresk, for example, having fallen to werewolves and been ruined, with its inhabitants largely emigrating to Valakai, which in itself not being in a very good state of affairs, having been overrun by vampire spawn. Of course, you, Mara, Marzen, and Stanley know a bit about all that. You then decided to take a long rest with these hunters, splitting up the night watch as a part of that. There was some awesome role play between Mara and Corben. For that, I wanted to give you guys each an inspiration point. So mark that down. You have an inspiration point. When Marzen and Ivan were on watch, Ivan stepped away to relieve himself and was attacked by a werewolf and pulled into the forest, with Marzen pursuing, giving chase, blowing on his horn to alert the rest of the team. You raced into the forest with the hopes of saving Ivan, but found yourself ambushed in the woods by dire wolves. Marzen being damaged severely and nearly dying, really. I think you were down to like 7 hit points before you were able to sort of chase off the werewolf and at least most of the dire wolves. You were able to kill one of them, which you skinned, quartered, and then carried back to the road. Making your way back to the camp, you found the fire flickering low, just embers. Stregobor nowhere to be seen, but tracks indicating that perhaps he was also attacked by werewolves and pulled into the forest and into the darkness. With the sun just starting to rise. You, Marzen, set up the Leoman's tiny hut to provide some more effective protection against what might be out there in the forest. And the four of you were able to take a long rest, regaining your hit points and your spell slots and any other features of your classes that require a long rest. It is essentially midday at this point, and the day is yours. What are you going to do?
I'm going to ask a question because I've never been granted an inspiration point before. I don't know where to list that or what it is.
Just mark it down somewhere, and you can essentially use it. It's a one-time use. You can use it to re-roll a die that you didn't like the outcome of. The magic of the hut begins to fade. The snow is falling. It is cold.
So we finished.
You
You
finished
said we
the long
finished
rest.
the long rest.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Well, let's get a move on it. I hate to stay and get attacked by some more werewolves.
So which direction are we going? Are we heading east?
Let me check my map. I drew a little map. I've been trying to draw a map as we've been going along. You here?
I think we're heading north to east. Day journey to the
Yep.
Loon River.
Luna River crossword roads, yep. And then we go south.
So we're still heading.
Yeah, we're
That's
still
where Witch
heading
Coven is.
east.
And Lunar River is where the Witch Coven is. We're trying to run into, right?
No, they're in
They're in
Perez. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which is a ways away as far as I know.
Okay.
But I really don't know where I'm going right now.
Yeah, we're still on our east day's journey, and that's to the Loon River. Then
Luna
at the
River.
Yep. Then once we get there, we will hit a crossroads, and we have to move south, and that's where we'll get to.
Okay.
Hey guys, wasn't the Luna
So-
River wasn't that where the bridge was, where those giant spiders were?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, too, I was thinking the same thing. Where
Yeah,
Stan,
so maybe you just need to be thinking about that before we get too close to the bridge and figure out some strategy there. That's all.
Yeah, like we could go downstream a little bit and look up underneath the bridge and see if there are any big nasty spiders there. Yeah. All right. Sticking on the road. I suppose I will take the lead because we're still in forest. I like traveling in forest. I'll go first.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready to roll.
Toward
Okay.
the Lunar River.
All right, you head off, heading east towards the Luna River. The snow beginning to fall heavier as you continue your way towards your destination. The wind picking up and the cold setting in. Luckily, you have warm winter wear now that you have these skins that you've fashioned into cloaks and blankets to wrap around yourselves. Somebody, let's see, Stan, since you're in the lead, why don't you roll a
Yep.
d20 for me? Just a straight d20. All right. You continue on, and the day grows dim as the afternoon passes into late afternoon, passes into evening, and it's starting to get to the point where you might want to start thinking about making camp. You haven't reached the Luna River crossroads yet. You're walking. The going is a little bit slower with the snow on the ground. Not a whole lot of tracks in front of you in the snow. It's pretty calm, but the wind is also blowing and probably covering up most of the tracks that you might find.
I'm looking for two things as I'm traveling. I'm looking for arrow shafts. I'm starting to get low. I'm looking for things that I can forage for stuff to eat.
You would not be able to find arrow shafts. Everything is covered in snow, but you can
Yep.
certainly try to forage. Why don't you roll a survival check? 8. It's really hard. You find a few berries that are growing on some of the evergreen trees that are low-growing shrubbery along the roadway, but you're not familiar with whether or not they're edible even. But you are able to get a handful of berries from these plants if you want to pick them.
Right. Yeah, I'll grab the berries and shove them in a pocket and take a closer look at them later.
Okay. As you continue, again, the night coming upon you, close on your heels, you round a bend in the trail, and in front of you, you see a very strange sight, something very unexpected, especially in this strange, barren, dark, dismal land. You see this rather ornate-looking wagon parked on the side of the path, on the side of the road. No draft animals at all. There are thick frozen layers of mud and ice underneath the wagon and in the wagon wheels. Its color is purplish, paint somewhat chipped. It seems to be enclosed from the distance you're at. It's hard to tell, but it looks to be an enclosed wooden trailer, some sort of a wagon.
What do you guys think of that?
Do we
Hold
do we
back
see
a
any
little bit.
motion?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we see any like movement or anything by it?
If you're going to look for movement, go ahead and roll a perception check, Marzen.
And I encourage us to stay out of sight. Don't let them know we're here.
Yep, I see a lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you don't notice any movement at all, other than the gusts of snow flying in your face. You get a little bit of snow in your eye, and it's kind of hard to see.
Can I do one too?
Sure.
I can't see anything. You guys see anything? Anybody over by it?
11.
Dan, you don't
Not much
see any
better.
motion at all, or either. It looks to be a cart, again, almost as if it was pulled over on the side of this roadway and and left there.
All right. Marzen, what do you think about casting a hut here as like a ritual, and we'll just kind of hang
What?
out, short rest, see what's going on?
See if anyone returns to it or anything.
Yeah.
Do you,
I think it's a good idea, yeah.
I'm totally fine with that.
All right.
So I'll take a few minutes and start casting my ritual for my little dome.
Okay. Easy enough. You complete the ritual, and your dome apparates around you.
I'll look to the rest of the group and ask them, be like, well, do you want to just sit here and stay put, or do you guys want to investigate? Two of us could stay and two of us could go take a closer look at the wagon. No one's there. We could kind of take a peek.
I've got a question. How far away are we from the wagon?
That's a good question.
It's a question for Marzen, I guess. He's the one that created the dome.
Pretty much right where we seen the wagon from. I don't think we walked closer to it, so
No, you're probably
I
about
would-
60 feet
I need
away.
to know,
You're
60
All right.
feet away.
about
Thank
60
you. That's
feet.
what I was. That's what I was looking for. You said 60 or 160.
6-0.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'll go with you, Marzen, because I can cast a find traps and see if there might be something. It's not 100%.
well,
No,
here's
foolproof.
the beauty of the hut, Mara. You forget I gotta stay here and stay warm.
Ah, yeah, that's
Or-
right. The beauty for you. I forgot about that.
God.
I'll keep the hearth going, and I'll make some stew.
Oh man. Well, at least somebody's doing the cooking.
I can shoot arrows out of the hut.
I'll go there with you, but I'm not great at investigation.
I'll cast a find
Oh, yeah.
traps and see if there's anything that, I mean, it's not foolproof, but it'll at least give us a one level of possible protection, and then when we get a little bit closer, I'll see what I can see. I'll see what I can perceive in this situation.
Yeah, that'll be good. Especially, we don't know if it was just a random person here or someone setting a trap for us,
Right,
or for
right.
any travelers on this road. So,
And
Alright,
Dave,
so-
what time of day did you say it was? Is it evening now?
It's nighttime.
All right,
There,
I want to cast. Or I gotta get out of the hut. All right, I want to get out of the hut and cast Dark Vision.
Okay.
All right, so before we'll just step right outside the hut, Corben, and let me cast it before we move forward at all. Okay.
Sure.
Right. So we are setting outside, stepped outside now, and let me
The
see
wind
here
is
what we've
howling.
got
It's
here.
much colder than it was before you got inside the hut.
Yeah, I'm not digging this, but I'm glad we have these skins, even though they're super stinky.
So are you guys? You guys are just gonna walk up to the hut or to the wagon?
Well, I just cast find traps.
120 feet. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Seems
gonna,
like a good plan.
super useful spell.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna be proceeding cautiously with my sword and shield out.
Well, wait a second. Let me see what the spell is going to tell me, and I don't know how it's going to tell me anything.
You cast your spell, Mara, by chanting your incantation and channeling your divine energy, and as you look ahead of you, you get the sense that there is a trap.
Okay, guys. There is some kind of a trap here. So don't move forward. Don't move forward at all. I think what we need to do.
Do you guys want to just stay here and wait then? If someone set a trap, they gotta be coming back at some point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's up to you guys.
It's cold out here, man. I'm going back inside the hut. We know that there's something not good, and I'm gonna kind of look at my spells and see what maybe we can cook up if nobody shows up to kind of tip their hand at all.
All right, I'll watch that wagon.
Are you watching from the outside or inside? I think we should be inside because otherwise we're tipping our otherwise we're tipping our hand here.
Mara, as you turn to walk back towards the hut, and Corben, you turn to follow, but you don't notice. Mara, you hear the sound of crunch of a foot on snow, and as you turn towards the source, you see a figure standing there, about 8 feet away from you. Good evening.
Whoa.
I'm gonna cast command and tell them to halt.
Yeah, and I get ready to shoot longbow.
Is that a wisdom save?
That is a sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Yeah. Target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or follow command on its next turn. Spell has no effect if the target is undead, or if it doesn't understand my language.
And it's a wisdom save?
It is a wisdom save.
Versus what? What's your DC?
My DC is 15.
The figure doesn't move.
All right. Okay. So I'm
So,
going to.
the figure says, "You are smart not to approach my wagon."
Who are you?
Oh, nobody important. How about you?
I disagree that you're not important. If you you must be of some importance, or you wouldn't have set a trap. We mean you no harm.
I do have a nice wagon to protect.
Do I have a good visual of her too? How close is she to the hut?
Have
I
you
had
been
just
watching,
stepped
or have you been? You sounded like you were probably cooking, Marzen. Is that what you said?
I was joking. I would be watching them
Oh, okay.
approach the hut.
Yeah, roll a
or the
perception
wagon.
check.
All right.
I too. I was watching.
No,
the-
Marzen, you don't see this. You don't see her. You see that Corben and Mara have stopped as they were returning back to the hut, but you do not see this individual.
All right.
Where are you headed at this hour?
Actually, we are headed we're headed someplace warm, and then we're just going to continue our travels in the morning.
What's your destination?
Why do you ask?
I'm curious about what happens around here.
And but you seem to be asking a lot of questions but not answering any. My name is Mara. What's your name?
Oh, Mara, what a pleasure to meet you. I guess I'm not quite as trusting as you are.
Well, I'm extending my hand of trust to maybe gain some from you.
I'm not one to trust easily, Mara. And at this point, you still haven't seen this individual, like any sort of characteristics of them. They're in the darkness.
Right, and that's why I'm going to cast a light cantrip on my shield so I can better see what's going on.
You cast light, and your shield emanates this bright, radiant light. And as you do, you can see this individual kind of shield their eyes for a moment as they sort of adjust. And you can see that this woman now, you can tell she drops her hand and she looks at you and says, "You should put that out. You'll attract creatures." But before you do anything, you notice that this woman has this dark, long, black, curly hair. She's wearing this sort of reddish woolen cloak that looks really warm. It has this kind of white, like almost an albino wolf fur collar to it and cuffs. She has long, sort of reddish and black, looks like leather or hide boots. She looks very well dressed. You also notice that she has a distinct crescent-shaped scar beneath her left eye. You should put that out, Giorgio.
Dave, I'd like to.
Giorgio? I'll dose it. But I want to know what your name is, please.
With that, she says, "Well, I'm sure we can have a conversation, but I, for one, am hungry." And she turns and walks towards her wagon. And she walks away from you.
All right, Dave, I'd like to use my divine sense.
Okay.
So.
And remind me what that does.
As an action, you can open your awareness to detect the presence of strong evil.
Okay.
Until your next turn, you know the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet.
Okay. Yeah, you channel the power of Sylvanas and to try to detect danger in the vicinity, but you don't get any sort of pings of celestial or fiend or strong evil.
Okay.
There is sort of this overwhelming, like, just chronic evil vibe that you get everywhere you go, but nothing that's jumping out at you. And this woman just walks back to her wagon, and you can see she kind of fiddles with some things, and she pulls out some equipment from her wagon.
I also detect the presence of any place or object that has been consecrated or desecrated. So does the wagon give up a bad vibe, I guess I'm saying?
The wagon does not.
Okay.
But this whole landscape definitely gives you a desecrated sense. Like this whole land is desecrated. Every place that you place your feet on this ground.
Right.
I do douse my light.
Yeah,
Um,
your light went out. Yep, and she walks away at that point.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
Do we consider that an invite?
Well, I'm gonna do a thaumaturgy because I know the wind is blowing. I don't want it to sound mean. I just want her to be able to hear me. Is it safe for us to come?
She kind of turns over her shoulder and yells, "Nothing is safe around here. You should know that by now, Giorgio."
Why'd she call you Giorgio?
I don't know.
Strange.
You see her kind of crouch down on the ground, and in just about, I don't know, less than 20 seconds, you see this fire, and she's got a campfire going really fast.
Yeah, she's got something going on, Corben.
Outside.
We should.
Sorry. go
Stan
ahead.
and I should be able to see that from now. Would we?
Yeah, you can see that there's a
Fire.
fire burning over there now. Sure.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like they found someone, Stan.
Yeah. I don't know if it's good or bad though.
We probably should just stay put, maybe. Or do you
Yeah,
want
I
to
think
go
we
out?
should stay put. She's in bow range. I could get some arrows over there quick.
All right. Well, we still have an element surprise, so we'll see what happens with this.
Okay. I'm willing to go hear her out.
I've got a feeling
Yeah.
she might be a
Mara.
witch though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't think we should just up and attack her or anything.
Oh no. Okay. I'm gonna just I'm gonna do a protection from evil and good on you. So one of us
Okay.
can have some protection. So let me just let me cast that. So I take out my holy water and I sprinkle it, and Lathander, shine your light upon my friend Corben and keep him protected. And off we go. Let's go.
Thank you. All
You're
right.
welcome.
Okay. So let's get up there.
Yeah.
So
Between that,
you
We're
and
going.
Mara
Initiative.
make your
moving.
way up to the fire that this woman has burning, and she doesn't really look at you, but she knows you're there as you approach, and you can see that she's got some meat that she's skewered on some sticks, and they're currently cooking over the open fire. Well, have a seat if you wish. Warm yourself. It's cold.
Yes, it is.
The weather
It's
has
very
taken a
cold, thank
turn,
you.
and it appears as though it's only going to get worse. Now, who is your friend, Mara?
My name is Corben.
Well, Corben, and she says, "Welcome to my fire," and she hands you a stick with meat on it, as she takes one for herself and hands one out to Mara as well. She takes a bite off of the meat and kind of tears at it with her teeth.
This is kind of you. Thank you very much.
I saw her eat it already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll eat it then.
I was waiting for her to take a bite too.
Yeah, it tastes pretty good. I mean, it's a little tough, but it's probably one of the better meals, one of the better pieces of meat that you've had in quite a while. And she's got a couple more on the fire cooking. So tell me, Corben and Mara, this is a strange land to encounter strangers. I'm curious as to your travels. You said you're headed somewhere warm. I guess I'm not sure where that would be in Barovia. This place is cold and evil.
No, I just meant that we were about to bed down for the evening.
Do you have others
'Cause
with you?
We're done traveling for the night.
Mm-hmm. Are there others with you?
We had some friends. I'm not quite sure where they are at the moment.
Maybe in that hut back there, that magical hut.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be my guess.
You have good eyes.
Yeah, we figured we'd come up and say hello.
I pay attention to these things. It's what
Are
I
you
do.
out here all by yourself?
I am. I find that having others around me only leads to disappointment and tragedy. I prefer to work alone, if you know what I mean.
I can
Understand.
understand.
Oh, what is your name?
A name is a powerful thing to share, not shared lightly with people that you don't know.
I feel like you know us a little more than we know you already, though.
I know,
We're at a bit of a
I know what you've
disadvantage
told me
here.
your names are. Whether or not those are your true names, I don't know, and quite frankly, it's not that important to me.
So you have this nice wagon out here, but there doesn't seem to be any kind of um, animals to help you move it along. Do you just stay put in this one place?
Oh, no, not at all. I've been traveling extensively through the valley. I have means of propelling my wagon without the need for traditional horses.
So you just move around around this valley. You don't have a place you call home?
I am not from here. I found myself here by happenstance, and as you are, I'm sure, hopefully you're aware that you, as I, am trapped in this land.
Yeah, sounds like exactly what happened to me.
And me. Where are you from?
Oh, everywhere, nowhere. I've traveled extensively throughout the realms, but none of that's particularly important. What's important is what's happening right now. I'm curious to know, where are you headed? Certainly not Valakai.
No, we're not.
Valakai has
Probably
been all
avoid
but
Valakai.
ruined. I'm not sure if you've been there recently, but it's a dangerous place.
Yeah, sounds like every place is pretty dangerous here. We heard from some other travelers last night that Kresk is also a place where you don't want to go.
Kresk.
That is also that's been overrun by werewolves.
Indeed, and the people of Kresk have all but abandoned its walls. As you sounds like you're aware, the people of Kresk attempted to make their way to Valakai, some of them successful, some of them not, but a group of children have been taken by werewolves, and that is what I intend to focus my efforts on for the moment.
Oh, I came across something earlier. I don't know if this is going to. I don't know if this is good or bad, but I'll pull out the small cloak and show it to her. I found this in the snow. I was hoping to find its owner.
She reaches out for it. May I see it?
Yes.
She takes it from you and she looks at it and she says, yes, this is of the local style for sure. It's very possible that this is from one of the children. Indeed. Where did you find it?
It was along the path where we were walking. And it was in the snow. I'm surprised I even saw it. It was kind of stuck to a branch, and I thought that was rather odd because it's cold, and I can't imagine anybody willingly removing a cloak, especially from a child.
Yes.
Did we find that before we saw the werewolf?
You've seen a werewolf.
Yes.
Where did you see this wolf?
We had a run-in with a werewolf about a day's journey.
Yeah. A day's journey west of here.
Yeah.
That then is the direction I shall head. I have heard of a dark cavern where these wolves have crafted a lair. I hope to find that lair and, with the grace of the gods, recover the children. These are trying times. The whole town of Valakai has also fallen under the control of Strahd's vampire spawn. So you probably don't want to go there.
Have you come from that direction?
I've been there recently. At one point, St. Andrew's Church was a sanctuary from Strahd's reach. However, it no longer benefits from the protective magic that was bestowed upon it by the holy relics of St. Andrew. It appears as though within the last couple of weeks, Strahd himself descended on the town of Valakai to wreak havoc, chaos. The holy relics of the church, the bones of St. Andrew himself, were stolen and were handed over to Strahd to be destroyed. It's troubling. There are agents of Strahd everywhere.
I know. I was there.
Tell me your thoughts on this creature, this Strahd. Do you know of him?
We know of him, yes.
In what sense?
I haven't ever personally seen him.
He appeared before me.
Oh, and you survived.
Yes, he was mocking me, and I'm the one who gave him the relics.
You what? You...
It was not willingly. It was not willingly.
I'm sure you understand the type of power that Strahd wields over others.
Oh yes, I am familiar with his kind. You seem like a good person, Mara. You seem as though you represent the light. To be corrupted by Strahd's influence, I can only imagine how filthy that must have made you feel.
My heart feels ripped apart.
Know this, I cast no judgment on you for what happened. I know the power of Strahd's commands. He is not one to be trifled with. His influence over people's minds is substantial.
Are you the huntress?
The huntress? What do you mean by that?
You've been told of the huntress. And that Strahd, well, I guess he killed her, so you couldn't be the huntress.
You speak of the ladies three.
Yes, yes.
How have you come by this knowledge? This is ancient knowledge of a Barovian past that has all but been forgotten.
We were told stories by the travelers we met last night.
Mm. And these travelers, are they with you in your hut?
No, they're not. They were carried away by the werewolves, and
Well,
we
one
and
of them escaped, but
yeah.
the other was
Well,
taken by one of the wolves.
and we don't know if the other one escaped or if he was also taken, because he was there and at the camp, and then when we came back he was gone, so we don't know what happened to him.
A wolf grabbed one of them. We pursued. When we came back, the other guy was gone.
Life is fleeting in this place. However, the afterlife is endless. As you may or may not be aware, there is a curse on this land. The same curse that keeps us from escaping to the places from where we came. Keep us here, keep us trapped within this strange realm. Unable to, even in death, escape. I guess the only thing to console your spirit is to know that Strahd himself is trapped by these very same mists that encircle this land. He shares the curse.
If he has the power to remove the curse.
Oh, I did not say that.
Ah.
Many of the Barovians describe these mists as an evil shroud that the Dark Lord has placed on Barovia to keep them from the rest of the world, and from the rest of the world from finding this place. However, I don't believe that. I think Strahd is just as much a prisoner of the mists as anyone else in this valley. There's something here that keeps him here? It's a theory that I'm working on. No, you still haven't answered my question, my original question. Where are you headed?
Well, we're heading towards the Lunar River,
Mhm.
and then our plan is to head south.
South.
I'm sure you can, I'm sure you can understand in a place like this, we don't feel real comfortable sharing plans with people.
I understand. But at the Lunar River, there's only one road to the south, and that would lead you towards Berez. Berez is a dangerous place.
Well,
course.
it's been our experience that really no place here seems safe at all.
Very true, Mara. And those places that were safe at one point are sadly no longer safe. It seems as though Strahd's grasp is closing on this valley for some reason.
How long have you been here?
Hard to say. Lost track
Hard
of
to
time.
That's what I was going to ask, if you just couldn't keep track of time or
Every day seems the
years?
same. I hunt, I kill. I hunt, I seek. I survive. And then
How
I
did
do it
you
all
come-
over again.
How did you come to be on this quest to find these children? Did you know their parents?
I
in
spoke
Kresk?
with some of the refugees from Kresk, crying along the road to Valakai, pleading for help. And me, you might not be able to tell, but underneath this gruff exterior that I portray, I do have a heart. And as profession dictates, you might call me a hunter of great evil. It's what I do, it's what I know. It's how I make myself useful.
Esmeralda?
She looks at you. How do you know that name?
I have a message for her.
You, Mara, have a message?
You do.
From where does this message originate?
Waterdeep.
She stands up in front of the two of you. She bows and she says, "My name is Esmeralda Davenier. I've been trapped in Barovia for many months, sent here by Dr. Marcus Ruscheider. I assume you know that name.
I do.
You have a message for me, then let's hear it."
I don't, I can't, it wasn't given to me verbally. It's on paper and it's in the hut. I will need to get it and bring it to you.
Very well. Strange, strange occurrences in the forest this evening.
Yes. I'm going to use some thaumaturgy because I want Marzen to hear me.
Yeah, and I'm still just waiting to draw and shoot. Been watching. I got dark vision.
Marzen, bring the hut and bring the message.
I'm gonna sheath my weapon so they know that we're not feeling threatened.
Do we could hear her then?
Yeah, I think with thaumaturgy it's pretty loud.
All right. Yeah, as soon as you said bring the message, Marzen's gonna like jump up, and look at Stan like, oh my god, we found her. then go running.
I'm totally confused. He goes running, then the hut disappears.
Corben has absolutely no idea what's going on.
Marzen, as you move past the perimeter of the hut, it drops. You make your way towards the fire.
So I start approaching and like, is it real you or Esmeralda?
The hut drops, and I head for cover. Some
Okay.
kind of tree or something.
All right, roll a stealth check, Stan. Marzen, as you approach, you see a woman standing. This woman with dark, curly black, long hair, wearing this really rather nice red woolen coat. And she turns as you call out. She doesn't say anything, but she watches you approach.
I'll look to Mara and like with eager eyes and be like, is it really her?
As you get close enough where you see the fire casting its glow upon her face, you see a distinct crescent-shaped scar beneath her left eye.
Could I do a history check? Because I can vaguely remember them describing her to us.
You don't need to. You would know that that's her. That's your main mission.
All right.
She has a scar under her left eye.
All right. So yeah, I'll pull a letter out and be like, it's been one hell of a journey trying to find you. That's for sure.
And who are you, friend?
I am Marzen. I'm friend of Mara. From the same place in the same dwelling you are from. We two are also hunters.
You hand her the envelope.
Yep.
She takes it and she looks at it. She doesn't open it right away, but she looks at it and she kind of turns it in her hand. How long has it been since Marcus gave this to you?
Long time. I kind of look at Mara.
Like you, we've lost track of time. Weeks, days, we're unsure.
Could I do a intelligence check? Is it for like a better estimate of time?
Sure.
Because we haven't been here that long, I don't think.
It seems like it.
What do you want? Just a...
I would say it's not really an intelligence check. It'd probably be more of a nature check.
Nature?
Yeah.
All right.
You estimate you've been here for between 2 and 3 weeks, maximum 4, but it's really hard to tell.
All right. I'll tell her that it doesn't seem like it's been longer than a moon. Maybe definitely less than 2 moons passing.
Yes, time is weird here. Interesting. She sits back down at the fire. You can tell your friend that he can join us if you'd like. And she sits down and looking at the envelope in her hand still.
I like stand up because I like fell on my face in the snow. Big cloud, powdery.
Bunch of snow
I'm just
on her
gonna be,
beard.
I'm just gonna be waving Stan in. Come on, come on. It's warm over here.
Yeah, all right, here comes Stan. Brushing off snow and saying, what the hell? Nice cart.
Thank you. Just have a seat. There's plenty of wolf meat for everyone if you'd like. She hands you a little wolf meat kebab. Marzen
Thanks.
and Stan, if you take a seat, she'll hand you one as well.
Yeah, I sit down and say, hey, Nice job cutting the wolf.
And how about you? She looks at you, Stan. Where are you from?
I got dropped here. I'm gonna undead. Really don't like him. Are you? You still alive?
She just kind of laughs. Well, I suppose there's no better time than now to find out what this message is, and she tears open the envelope. She unfolds this piece of parchment that's folded in 3. Interesting. What did Marcus tell you about this place, or about what I was doing?
Nothing but that you've been doing research on it, and you feel like there's a dark entity that needed to be pretty much taken away or lifted. So that's pretty much as much as we know. We just came looking for you.
I've been undead, and I've been killed and spent some time in the undead, and I'm looking for my pal Thalamir.
You died.
Yeah.
How were you?
I saw the other side.
How were you brought back? The abbot?
Nah, very
No.
carefully.
Souls don't just return to their bodies willy-nilly around here. They languish in the mists. How did you pull that one off?
Oh, it was Argynvost told.
Yeah, it was a soldier.
Her eyes get a little wide when you mention Argynvost Holt.
That's where we come from.
You've traveled to the stronghold
Mhm.
Yes.
and met with the Order, I assume.
Yes, we did.
And how did they receive you?
Quite
So-
well, actually.
Roll a deception check.
Some of us.
They as a whole, they did actually. There was no issue until we had a run-in with the oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Vladimir.
with the Lord Marshal.
I just rolled a 21 insight for her, so she can
She sees-
she sees
No,
right
yeah.
through you, Marzen.
It was definitely jokingly saying it too. It wasn't like kind of like definitely sarcasm.
From what I understand of the Order of the Silver Dragon is broken.
Well, you thought, but this guy right here, and I kind of kick at Corben's feet. I was like, he's a genuine knight now.
It's true. I've sworn an oath to Argynvost.
What sort of oath?
We plan to relight the beacon.
A valiant effort, and one that may quickly get you killed. But I respect that. An oath is not something to be taken lightly. I'm surprised to hear that the Order even has a presence yet in the valley.
Well, you're looking at it. There's not much left.
I wish you the best of luck.
Fortunately, the rest of the order is all undead skeletons.
What about you and your mission here? Have you? I'm guessing that it was Strahd that drawn you here.
I've come to this place for 2 reasons. Rushaider and the Society have been curious for quite some time. I've known about Strahd for centuries, but have been curious to know why he has not ventured beyond this relatively small domain. What's keeping him here? That's what we're curious about. And is that power something that we could use to imprison other dark entities? As you can imagine, if there is something that holds him to this place, that could potentially be very a very powerful weapon or tool in the right hands.
We've met a Vistani woman that has given us a prophecy about how to pretty much slay Strahd and allow us to leave this place.
You speak of Madame Eva.
Yes, have you met her as well?
I know her well. I too am Vistani. We are of the same kin.
So, are you able to leave this dwelling? We are not. We're stuck here.
I have not tried to leave because I'm not done with my work. But some powerful Vistani seers are able to move beyond the mist, so it's said.
You think Madame Eva is one of them?
It's possible. She is powerful. There's no doubt about that. Her ability to interpret the weave is, well, unrivaled, really. Tell me, what kind of prophecy did she provide to you? What type of insight in the destruction of Strahd? For the second part of my mission is indeed to destroy him.
She told us about a rogue, a dark cavern in the woods that has great knowledge and power. A weapon that is a holy symbol, and that's what drawn us to Argynvul's Halt. We now have that one. Or is this the Sword of Sunlight? Then we also know that there's a holy symbol behind the Ember Door that will help us. And a Seeker of Vengeance. We are looking for an ally that's pretty much vowed to destroy him. And the last part is where we'll find him, and that is on his throne.
You mean to tell me that you possess the Sun Sword?
Hey, whoa! This is awful lot of information that we're passing along here.
Yeah.
She's I look at the two of you guys. You like she's within our order. She's pretty much like family.
What are your intentions, Madam of the Cart?
You can call me Esmeralda, friend. What's your
What are
name?
your intentions? You mean to do us harm?
What's your name? And I'll tell
Stanley.
you.
Stanley Maki.
I'm not a fan of the name, but I'll let you live. And she smiles at you. My intention is, as I stated, you were busy chewing on your wolf meat, but I have mentioned that I intend to discover the powers that are keeping Strahd from leaving Barovia, and he is a man of war, of conquest. It is very uncharacteristic for someone like that to stay in one place and be satisfied. The society that we work for, and she nods at Mara and Marzen, wants to know this information. Once I have that information, I intend to kill him. It's quite simple. I have also sworn an oath, my Paladin friend, to kill this devil before I leave this place. Perhaps Madame Eva's prophecy has aligned us in a common goal.
I couldn't agree more, and
Yes, it
it's
would seem so.
it's definitely
I just can't believe that we found you. I really thought this was once we got here, it almost seemed as though it was a fool's errand. And I'm so relieved that we did come across each other.
Tell me again of the rest of the prophecy. One by one, you've obtained the Sun Sword. Tell me of these other items.
we think the Amber Doors are from the Amber Temple. So
Makes
we think
sense.
that there's some type of holy system or a holy symbol, and it's a source of power. I'm not too sure. Do you remember, Mara?
It just power and a holy symbol, a great treasure behind amber doors. She said that the history of the ancients will help us, and we would discover great power and knowledge in a rogue dark cavern, and
The Dark
yeah,
Cavern.
and there's
that's-
an executioner who sheds light and a hunter of evil that will that seeks salvation, and yeah, we're kind of trying to put all this together as we're going along here.
Well, the Amber Doors, the Amber Temple, that is a very dangerous place. You speak of Berez, and I warned you of that, but I warn you even more strongly against traveling to the Amber Temple until you are absolutely ready for that fight. It is a very dangerous place.
What would it take to be ready?
Perhaps discovering these other elements of this prophecy.
It seemed like we're definitely in the same mission now. You're trying to figure out what's holding them here, and with that knowledge, we'll possibly find a way for how we could escape. Knowing how legendary you are with these monsters and all this, I would definitely feel a lot more comfortable if we're able to travel with you.
Madame Eva mentioned this rogue, this card, the Master of Coins. She mentioned that in my prophecy as well. A dark cavern.
In your travels, have you found something like this?
My friend, I'm headed there now. I believe this dark cavern to be the den of the werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
I intend to find that den and save these children.
We just had a run-in with werewolves just this last night.
Yes, we told her about it.
Perhaps our fortunes are aligned.
We had a run in with one of these too, and I pulled the beast pelt up from my pack.
Interesting. I've not seen a pelt like that before. There are all types of creatures living and undead in this land. It certainly is dangerous. I've fought many werewolves in the past, and I intend to destroy this pack.
Have any silver on your wagon?
I've got this, and she draws her silver sword. This is what I use against them. She just kind of rocks it back and forth a little bit for you to take a look at, and then she sheaths it again. Silver, yes, is the best weapon against these creatures.
Is it the only thing effective against them?
Oh, they are susceptible to magical damage of all sorts. Mundane weapons are virtually worthless against them. They have an ability to regenerate.
I could be effective if I could acquire some silver for arrowheads. Have anything like that?
Silver for arrowheads. I can't say that I do, but you are in luck. If you should assist me with this quest, you may be able to count on me as your, what did Madame Eva say? Executioner?
I will be totally fine with that. I'll be honest. We never really felt safe since we've been in this place, and knowing your prestige and the the legends around your stories. This is the first time I've actually felt comfortable being here in this place.
I'm in agreement with Marzen.
I think so too. I think we should help her.
Fine, I feel strangely comfortable too, but still skeptical. You guys are telling her an awful lot of our good stuff.
Well, Stan, remember at one time we had to tell you to.
Like I said, she's like family.
And you, Paladin, you're willing to put your quest to relight the beacon on a momentary hold to assist with the rescue of these children?
From what I understand from my companions here, I think this is, part of it. This is a portion of what needs to happen in order for me to complete my quest.
Very well.
Plus, it's a worthy cause. Do you
Damn
think any
straight
of these
it is.
children still live?
I still have hope.
Alive?
I still have hope. And if we're correct with this interpretation of Madame Eva's prophecy of this ancient knowledge, you say? Well, perhaps the Master of Coins will shine fortune upon us and we will find whatever it is that you're looking for. Yes, indeed.
Esmeralda, I have some questions for you. You keep talking about Master of Coins. I don't recall Madame Eva talking about that. Either my memory is bad or she didn't tell us what she told you.
Your friend mentioned the rogue.
Mm-hmm.
The rogue is the Master of Coin.
Oh.
I've been around these cards since I was a child. I'm sorry. I have much knowledge of them. But yes, didn't you say that, Marzen?
Yeah, it is the rogue.
Well, hopefully the fortune shines upon all of us. And she gets up for a moment, and she looks at the letter. She looks at the fire. And then she takes the letter and she drops it in the flames. Then she walks over to her cart, and you can see if anybody's watching as she moves, she places her hand on a part of the cart, and this small drawer just kind of snaps out of the cart, and she opens it up, and she reaches in, and she pulls out 4 arrows, and she walks over to Stan and she says, "These should do the trick." And she hands them to you, and the 4 arrows have what's obvious to be silver arrowheads on them.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I
Don't
will
lose them.
use
I
them
will
wisely.
want them back. Silver's not easy to find around here. What of the rest of you? What are your capabilities? How about you, Mara? You are obviously some sort of a spell caster based on our earlier interaction.
Yes, I do have some meager spell casting abilities. I keep trying to improve, but I would still call myself a beginner. But I do have 2 silver daggers as well.
Okay. And you, Marzen?
I weave magic in my words and music, and I help inspire others. And I'm also pretty damn good with my axe.
Very good. What of you, Paladin?
I have sworn an oath to my god, Sylvanas, and he helps empower my attacks.
And you also happen to wield a very powerful artifact.
I do. Although I am a little hesitant to wield it, I guess. in case I accidentally expose it as being in the world, as you could say. You know, in front of something that might be loyal to Strahd. I don't want him to know. that
Not
we
an
have it.
unreasonable precaution to take. Well, for now, our paths align. Tomorrow, we set out to destroy the werewolves and rescue these children. Tonight, we
All
rest and pray to your gods. She looks at you, Mara, and you, Corben. Pray for guidance. Strange happenings this night. She kind of sits back down and just sort of pokes the fire a little bit. She pokes a little bit of the coals in the fire, and Stan, you can see that the letter that she threw in the fire is partially burnt, but it's not completely burnt, but it's kind of laying there in the fire.
Interested in that letter in the fire.
Roll a perception check.
I am too. Because I'm dying to know what it says.
Mara, you don't see the letter, but if you want to roll an investigation check, you certainly can.
Stands on it.
Yeah, Mara, unfortunately, you saw her throw it into the fire, but based on sort of your passive perception, you didn't really pick up the fact that it wasn't fully incinerated. But Stan, you did, and you see that there is some sort of a very short bit of text on this letter. 2 words that you can't make out because you can't read the handwriting from the distance, but you can see that it's literally only 2 words.
The whole letter was 2 words.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Eventually she sort of looks over at you. You're still sitting there with her. She says, what do you know of these items and the destruction of Strahd? Do you have any additional insight from your travels in this realm? You've had intimate interactions with him, Mara. Do you have a sense of how you will destroy him when the time comes?
Not yet. I'm working on it.
Have
Just
you,
like we all are.
have
I
you
mean,
ever truly fought a vampire before?
I have not. If I had, I wouldn't have given him what I gave him.
Don't be so hard on yourself about that, Mara. It is tragic, no doubt, and, well, let's leave it at that. You need to know that Strahd is not like the creatures that we call vampires back home. He's different. There's something ancient about him, something that empowers him beyond the capabilities of other vampires that I've encountered or my mentor, Van Richten, has encountered. Something about this place, again, that's part of my mission and the research that I'm conducting. Something that you may know, perhaps Dr. Ruscheider has mentioned, perhaps you've studied, Marzen, in the archives, the dark powers. I believe they are at play here.
You think the entity is what's keeping this place closed off from the rest of the world and us stuck here?
I believe that the dark powers in this sinister realm are as ancient as anything that we have records of. The sorrow and pain and the longing of this place. This realm of dread has existed for eons. This sort of ebb and flow of growth and decay. And I'm speaking mostly from the studies that I've done from the archives, but I think Barovia somehow fits into this idea of the domains of dread. Perhaps we are caught in one of these domains. I don't know, but that's what I'm trying to find out.
It definitely feels like we are. You know, it's one thing reading about it, then another place just actually being here. And in this place, it just seems like it's nothing but evil.
Mm. Yes, there's this long history of Barovia. People will tell you about it. You can read about it. You can experience it. But it seems as though it's a false history, almost doomed to repeat itself over and over again. That's what Dr. Ruscheider believes, and I do too. I think the key may be to stopping this cycle somehow. Perhaps by killing Strahd. Well, that's why I'm here anyhow.
Perhaps by lighting the beacon?
Perhaps.
Before we start tomorrow, Mara and I, we kind of skipped the part on werewolves, and we're trying to figure out what's myth and what's not. What could you tell us any information about them before we start attacking them?
Well, as I mentioned, silver is the most effective means of damaging these creatures. Mundane weapons that are not magical or silvered will damage them, but the damage is momentary. They have this uncanny ability to regenerate. Their bite is what needs to be avoided because it's the bite that transfers the curse of lycanthropy. It is an uncontrollable curse that will send its victims into fits of rage, hunger for human flesh. These creatures can shapeshift at will. Some have said that they can only shift at the moon, but it's not true. I have seen these creatures shift in the light of day.
Is there any cure?
Well, as a curse, there are ways to remove curses, magical means of purifying the soul, divine energy that our Paladin friend and Mara might be familiar with. Other than that, the only other cure for the curse of lycanthropy is the blade.
I suppose that sun sword that Andy has would help.
Who's Andy?
Not Andy. Corben.
Corben.
That is a powerful relic. I have no doubt that it would be effective against these creatures. But as Corben mentioned, his justified hesitancy to reveal its whereabouts, that is a decision that you, sir, will have to make when the time presents itself.
Right.
So silver and magic it is, and
I will say
Any
this,
idea?
Corben, that I don't get the sense that Strahd is omniscient or all-knowing. Just the mere presence of the five of us at this point in time, right here, right now, unmolested by his minions, suggests that he perhaps is unaware. Of course, the devil could also be toying with us. It's hard to say.
Oh, he knows how to do that.
Right.
Yes, without question.
Esmeralda, did Madame Eva share anything else with you that is different than what we've been told?
I'm not sure. Madame Eve and I have talked on a number of occasions, but I will say this, that there has been an increase in outside forces entering the valley over the last few months. Travelers, adventurers, people who have come here by chance, by fate, while at the same time Strahd's grasp has tightened. The winery is gone. Kresk is gone. Valakai is poised to fall. Barovia is overrun with the priest's vampire son. The burgomaster barely clinging to his power of leadership. It's a dangerous time.
Oh, he still has a grasp at all?
Last I was there.
I think he is searching for his long lost love. He sent me and Mara. He promised us a way out if we found Tatiana.
Tatiana, yeah.
I know this name. The abbot of Kresk revealed to me that Strahd longs for this woman, his long lost love, Tatiana, this red-haired beauty that has him mesmerized. Huh. Well, that corroborates that information. So tell me, he has sent you to find her?
Yes, she has died. It seems like she has a doppelganger. Like she's rises time after time again.
She looks down at the fire and she takes the stick that she's been poking the coals with, and she kind of uses it to scoop the remains of this letter back out of the fire because she noticed that it hasn't burned all the way. She kind of picks it up and kind of waves it in the air a little bit to get the cinders off of it, the edges of the letter burning a little bit. She hands it to you, Marzen. And written in what you recognize to be Dr. Ruscheider's handwriting is a name. And the name is Irina Kolyana. And then she says, commit that name to memory and burn that note.
Could you repeat it one more time before I...
Irina Kolyana. I'll type it in the chat for you.
All right, perfect, thanks.
This has been fortuitous for us to meet, indeed. You have corroborated information that I've been seeking to confirm. It appears as though we, at least for the time being, need each other to complete the next phase of our quests. Well, then, tomorrow we set out. We'll be heading west. And I hope to pick up the trail of these werewolves in the area where you last saw them. For now, warm yourselves by the fire, set up your hut, and rest easy tonight, for tomorrow we set out for a long journey.
Thanks for not killing us. hopefully you won't tomorrow either.
Do you have any journals on any of your travels and stuff? I mean, the missions you've been on of Legend. I'd love to know if you have anything like that.
I'm not.
Or-
I
Or books of lore.
I don't have anything like that. I'm not like Rudolph. I don't write about myself and my quests and my adventures like he does. I focus more on the objectives at hand. Any writings that I do have been submitted to the society. I don't keep a journal. My information's up here. She taps her temple. Well, I intend to get some rest. I suggest that the four of you do the same. And she gets back up, and she kind of walks back over to her wagon. And you can kind of hear her unlatching and unlocking and fiddling around for a little bit. And then she disappears, and the four of you are left at the fire.
Well, this seems like a good a place as any, especially next to a true legend.
Wow.
I'll start.
Yeah, you guys left out
Start
a
on
whole
the hut,
bunch of
then.
information.
Well,
You wanna
honestly, Stanley, I didn't. First of all, we took an oath. But aside from that, I honestly, once we got here, had serious doubts that we would even find her. I thought she was long dead. And I sat here at the fire thinking, is that Esmeralda, for quite a while before I actually said the words out loud because I didn't want to sound foolish.
She's legit though, right? You guys trust her?
with my
Yeah.
life.
Yep.
I'm following
Alright.
you.
All right, I'll hang around.
With that, I'll start casting the hut and put my bedroll down and getting ready to go to sleep.
Okay. You weave your magical incantation, and the familiar magical essence of the hut apparates around you, and you settle in for the night. The wind howling, the snow gusting around, still falling. The four of you settle in for the night.
I'm curious about my arrows. Curious to check them out before I go to sleep. See if they're gonna fly right.
They look like they're pretty well crafted arrows. They're not quite as fancy as Selagal's arrows, but they look just as good as any of the standard arrows that you've shot.
Figure
And
they'll
they
behave the
have-
same. And
They have finely crafted silver tips on them that have 4 blades on them.
Okay.
Yeah, they look pretty nice.
um,
All right, does anybody want to have a watch at all during the night, or what do you guys want to do?
we should probably still watch, and I probably still have dark vision going. I don't think it's been 8
I
hours
think
that we've been
might
sitting
be
there
sm-
jabber-jawing.
might be smart to do that, yeah.
Okay, who's going to do the first watch?
I would do the first watch.
All right,
Sure.
I'm ready.
roll a perception check.
There.
Everybody else settles in, gets comfortable, lays down in your warmth of this magical hut, and Stan stays up watching. Stan, at some point in the night, the fire embers are almost out during your watch, and you gaze upon the fire, and you just kind of think about everything that's brought you to this place, and you kind of wonder about Thalamir and where he fits into all of this.
Mm-hmm.
He weighs heavily on your mind this evening. But nothing else of note happens during your watch. Who's going to take the second watch?
I'll take the second one.
Okay.
Roll a
It doesn't
perception
matter
check.
to me, though.
Yeah, roll a perception check, Corben.
Okay.
You don't really. It's really hard for you to see very far out of the hut. By the time you take over, the fire has all but burnt out and is now covered in snow. It's howling outside. You can tell the snow is kind of drifting up against the edges of the hut, and it's dark. So nothing of immediate danger provokes you, and you make it through your watch. Mara, why don't you take the third watch? It looks like, and roll a perception check for me. Nice. Same for you. Let's see, you don't have dark vision, do you, Mara?
No.
Okay. Yeah, really hard for you to see too far beyond the confines of the hut, but there's nothing outside that provokes any sort of feelings of danger, imminent danger at least. And you make it through your watch. And finally, Marzen, why don't you take the last watch? Yeah, you...
Hey, Harry, get up.
Trim your eyebrows. It's time for your watch.
I was going to
Marzen,
try to make
you,
a Chewbacca noise, but I suck at it.
Nice. Yeah, same for you. It's dark and it's blustery, and you don't see any movement. It's a pretty innocuous time of night, and you don't get any sense of imminent danger. In the morning, as Marzen, your watch comes to an end, and the rest of you start to wake, the magical essence of the Leomund's tiny hut begins to fade, and that's where we're going to take a quick break. All right, so let's get back to it. You wake up in the morning. Let's see here. You do not get the benefits of a second long rest because you'd already taken a long rest previously within a 24-hour period. If you recall, you can only gain the benefits of a long rest once per 24-hour period. I don't think that applies to spell preparation, though. I think you can still prepare a different set of spells.
Could you remind for the hit dice? Sorry.
Hit
much do we
dice, you
get?
you mean like what you recover?
Yep, per long rest.
You recover up to half your level, I believe.
Rounded down or up?
Rounded down.
Oh, never mind. We're level 16.
Well, so the spells that I used approaching I've got a couple of spell slots that I've used up already.
Yeah, you don't get those back.
Yeah. Okay.
I would like to say that the sun is out and it's a bright, shiny day for you, but it's definitely not. This is Barovia after all, and it's overcast, dark. The wind is blowing, gusting. The snow isn't falling anymore, but it's kind of blowing sideways and upwards and downwards and every which way. It is not. It's kind of like I would say it's very similar to like a January morning in Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah. Snow globe.
Yep. Snow globe is a great way to put it. Stanley, that's great. You wake and Esmeralda is making some tea at the fire that she has stoked up. She's up before the rest of you. She's got tea going and she's eating some wolf meat. She's got some wolf meat cooking over the fire. And
I'm
she's
probably the next one up and surprised that she woke up before me.
Yeah, she's up. She looks at you and says, "Good morning, Stanley Maki.
Good morning.
Tell me that name. What's your background? Where are you from? I don't recognize the surname."
No. I'm a
traveler from another realm. I'm a worker that taken up a cause of getting up an undead. Or hard on me and my kin, and I'm working to make right what once went wrong.
I see you carry a heavy burden.
Yep.
I don't mean to pry. But I do like to understand the motivations of my companions, especially when we plan to go into battle together.
Yes. I appreciate your help. I'm in support.
You
My
seem
companions
skeptical.
are slightly. This is a strange land and strange times.
A bit of skepticism is healthy in a place like this, I would say.
Yes. And I appreciate yours as well. And I wish us luck traveling together.
They say that you're a bit of a tracker, is that correct?
Yes. I'm quite comfortable in the woods and the wilds. I would be happy to go out front and monitor trails and activity, and you can put me on point. I'm comfortable here, and we'll do my best to watch out.
We'll need your tracking skills today. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't do anything hasty. We're entering some dangerous territory. Just be ready.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Pats you on the back and hands you she hands you a kebab, and she walks off and she heads back to her wagon, and she's kind of taking care of some things. As the rest of you start to wake up, the protective energy of the hut fades, and you are met with a biting cold wind. You can see that Esmeralda is essentially like gathering equipment from her wagon.
Do you have any other weapons that will help us out in this time?
Funny you should say. She says, "Come here," and she gestures for you to come to the wagon. She puts her hand on one of the panels, and it almost looks like she pushes in with the panel, and it seems to release this spring-loaded mechanism where this tray kind of pops out of the side of this. As you look at this wagon now, too, you really in sort of the light of the gray light of the day, you can see that it's got really beautiful woodwork. It looks like it's been painted over a couple different times. The paint is kind of chipped and worn. This purple sort of this broad purplish paint with red highlights and red accents, but very nicely carved. And anyways, this tray kind of pops out, and you can see inside this tray there are a number of vials. And she says, have you ever heard of something called Alchemist's Fire?
I've heard about it. I haven't really used it before.
She holds up this small vial for you to see, and anybody else, you guys might see this happening and be interested to see what's going on over at the wagon. Anybody who approaches will see this. She kind of tilts this vial back and forth. It's about the standard vial you'd see in like your chemistry class when you were in high school or college, and the liquid inside of it is this yellow, viscous liquid that seems to almost stick to the inside of the vial as it kind of sloshes back and forth. She says, this will do some substantial damage to anything that gets in your way. Try to be about 20 feet away from wherever you want this to land. Throw it so that it shatters on impact. And you'll cause some
Any chance I could put that on
considerable
arrows?
fire damage on whatever target you hit.
I'm like leaning over and looking at this going, ooh, ah. This is really cool.
This is Alchemist Fire. She says you need to be very, very careful with this.
'Cause I really like the fire.
I'm willing to give one of these to each of you, but you need to be extremely careful that you don't, set me on fire.
I would not do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very careful. I'm very careful with my fire.
She's like,
Would that work on arrows?
no, I don't think it would.
Maybe not give one to Stan. No, I'm kidding.
She hands one to Mara, and she hands one to Corben, and then she pulls one out and hands it to Marzen, and then she takes one out and she holds it up and says, she looks at you, Stan, she says, "Don't start me on fire, and don't start any of your companions on fire."
Okay.
And then she hands one to you. So you each have a vial of alchemist fire. It's a one-time use situation, but it should provide a bit of a wallop.
Nice.
And she has 2 more that she puts in her pocket. And then she says, "Well, what do you say?"
I say
Thank you.
get going.
Yeah, we should
And
get
thank
going.
you. And absolutely, thank you.
Stanley, Maki, why don't you lead the way? What I'd like to do is head back to where you encountered this werewolf yesterday. I think that's probably the best place to start. Or perhaps where you found the red cloak, Mara, whichever is closer.
It was on the way, and I honestly, I don't think I could remember exactly where. So we should just retrace our steps and keep our eyes open, and go from there. I think is a good approach.
Okay. So with the morning ahead of you, you start to walk away and head down the trail, and you may or may not wonder, well, what is she going to do with the wagon?
Yeah.
Stan, you're kind of thinking that's strange, and you look
Yeah,
back.
I'm watching over my shoulder, and
Yeah, you look back and you don't see the wagon anymore.
wagon all secure. Do you need any, like, got an animal trap? You want me to set a trap by it?
Unnecessary. Save your trap. We may need that for for our werewolves. The wagon will be just fine.
Okay. Thanks for the arrows. What do you recommend with them? Should I save them for Strahd? Should I use them on werewolves?
You're going to use them on the werewolves.
Yeah.
That's why you have them. All right.
I will use them well.
Lead the way. And you head off at a pretty, I don't know, powerful pace through the snow. There's probably about 8 inches of snow now, so it's definitely
Heading west, right?
Yep, you're heading west back the way that you had been traveling. You'd been traveling the opposite direction the day prior, but you are basically backtracking your path. And Stan, roll a d20 for me, since you're sort of in the lead.
There.
Okay. And then roll a survival check. Okay.
And on the 11th.
You lead the way for the first couple of hours. The group stops at one point to take a little breather. You've been moving pretty fast, and it's, like I said, arduous as you traverse this path in the snow. There is no sign of any recent tracks throughout the morning of travel as you head back towards and eventually find that tree that grows in the center of the trail. And you get to that point, and you kind of stop and let the rest of the party catch up to you, Stan. At this point, you haven't seen any tracks or anything, but you have a pretty decent awareness of where you are. You've been here before a couple times. And from here, where do we go?
We're headed west.
Well, do you think we should go to that area we lost the wolves when we were trying to fight them? And try to track them from there?
Remember
And
it.
they looked like they were making a beeline for someplace. I think they were probably heading towards their lair.
So, is it possible? Well, let me think. Stan, were you with us during that fight? I feel like some of us were back.
No, he was.
He was?
Yes,
Okay.
I would.
Dan, it was this way too, wasn't it? I'll try to help Stan navigate.
Okay. So where are you guys trying to navigate to?
The point where we were fighting the werewolf and when we were chasing after it.
Okay. So you you head south from this tree, down the narrower path that leads towards Argynvost Hold.
And can I do a perception check to see if I can identify roughly where I found that little cape?
Sure. Go ahead and roll a nature check.
Oops, sorry, I already had my finger on the perception.
It's all
Hold on
right.
a second.
Go ahead and roll nature.
I am. Got it.
Okay. Yeah. You have a sense of where it is, but everything looks very similar to you out here. It's really
Yeah.
hard to tell. Not being a whole lot much of a tracker yourself,
Right.
but you have a sense that it's in this area just off of the main trail.
Right.
In fact, if you recall, you had sat with Stregobor and Ivan at their fire the night previous, or 2 nights previous at this point, on the main trail near that
Yeah.
tree. So it's in this area somewhere where you found the red cloak and where you think that you fought the wolves. Are you guys going to kind of search around for this location? Is that what you were thinking, Mara?
No, actually, I was thinking that if I could kind of identify where I found that cloak, I would let Esmeralda know, and she could choose to look, dig in the snow a little bit if she wanted to.
Okay, so yeah, you have a sense that it's in this general area, but
Yeah, as Esmeralda, I wish I could tell you exactly where I found that cloak, but I can't. But it was roughly in this general vicinity
so
that I found
near
it.
the junction of these two paths. Let's do this. Let's spread out a little bit. Not a whole lot. I don't want anybody getting farther than 10 to 15 feet, but let's just sweep this area a bit. What do you say?
I'm all right with that. If the
Sounds
others
like a
are.
good idea.
All right, everybody roll a perception check. And we'll roll one for old as.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice perceptions. Where we
Yeah,
go.
really. Except our ranger.
Wow. Yeah, I rolled a
still
19
drooling
as
over
well.
the-
So that's what's called a group check. So you guys are able to find blood splatter on some of the trees near the area where you think you were camping. And as you start to dig around a little bit, you find buried in the snow the cinders of the campfire that you had been sitting at with Ivan and Stregobor. This is the location where you camped.
Yes, this is it.
Which direction would we go from here, do you think?
So
Could I remember the direction I?
Yeah, Marzen, you took off first, so do you remember
Yeah, with that perception check, you recall.
It was this way.
Okay. She said,
Nice.
Stan and I will be out front, and Mara, you and Marzen, you should be in the middle. Paladin,
Yes,
do you feel comfortable guarding our flank?
sure.
Stay close to each other. 10 feet at most.
All right.
We don't want to get separated in these woods. And she heads off in the direction that Marzen indicated. Now, the day wears on as you make your way as quietly as possible through the forest, and Stan and Esmeralda are at the front of the line, and they're often stopping to converse and sort of analyze and look for clues. So Stan, why don't you roll a survival check with advantage, because she's helping you, trying to sort of identify which way to go. Nice. And with her help, Stan, you're able to pick up the trail of blood, presumably left by one of the wolves that had been injured the previous night. It could also be the blood of Stragobor, who had also disappeared into the woods.
Mhm.
And you continue to follow it, and we get into the afternoon. Eventually, you come to this small clearing, and she kind of puts her hand out and she kind of puts it on your chest for you to stop. And she crouches down in the snow, and everybody else who's in this line behind you can see her stop and crouch down. And stand, she kind of pulls you down gently so that you're crouching next to her. She points. She points ahead of you and up. And as you follow the indication of her finger, you can see that there's a rocky knob that extends above the tree line. And on the face of this rocky precipice, you see a wide opening. Looks to be a cave.
Wow.
She says, "Talk gently. This could be their lair."
Never seen anything like that before. What a good
Stan,
spot for a lair.
as you look up at it, it's almost like the cave looks. It almost, you can't tell if it's just because of the situation or maybe the I don't know, the suggestion or the scenario, but it almost seems like this cave appears to be the maw of a great wolf.
Yeah.
She
It's
says,
not a very welcoming place to go.
no, and she kind of she gestures to you to follow her and to pull back a little bit. And she starts going back to the rest of the group, and she says, when you're all kind of there, she's like, "I think we've potentially found their den." And she says, "I think we should wait. We should stake it out and watch. See if anything emerges or returns. I will tell you right now that during the day, well, these creatures hunt at night, right? During the day is typically when they're sleeping, after their nighttime escapades. Right now, it's late afternoon. It's hard to say if they're still sleeping. Perhaps they're waking up. If this is indeed the location, and if we're lucky, we should see them leave the cavern to go out for their nightly hunt."
I got a crazy idea.
Oh, you always do.
Let's hear it.
Say they all leave the cavern, or what we think all leave
Mhm.
the cave. What if we go to the base of the cave and I cast my hut, so as they're trying to return, we could ambush them?
Well, they would see the giant black hole of the hut, right? Like
Yep.
the hut can be seen.
Or we could wait until they go back in, and we could kind of, if we're able to, depends on how big the cave entrance is.
Yeah, and if they might have a more than one entrance.
Okay. Yeah, it was just a random idea. That's what I was like. Just
We
crazy.
could
But
cast- we
but
could
you know
cast
what?
the hut for the
If
entrance.
if we don't know if they're awake or asleep now because it's late afternoon, maybe we can, camp out overnight, watch them leave, watch them come back, give it a little time, and then go in there while they're allegedly sleeping, and attack while they are not expecting us to attack.
Yeah, that's one thing. We could go in during the day,
Yeah.
or we could wait at night, see how many leave, and then go in while they're all gone.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps there would be fewer of them guarding these children.
The minute you wake them from their slumber and they're all there, depending on how many there are, that's going to be a tough fight. I think Corben speaks truth. It seems strategic to wait for the hunting pack to leave. Remember, our goal here isn't to destroy every one of these, it's to rescue these children.
So we go in at night.
Half
Yeah,
the hut so they can't get back in.
We need to find a good hiding place so that we're not detected after when they leave.
I could help with that. Could find a good hiding spot for us for when they leave. We could cast the hut in the doorway so they can't get back in the same way that they went out.
But then I would have to stay behind at the door, or the
We'd have
entrance.
to stay in there.
Yeah.
That takes one of our fighters out of the game.
Yeah, I would prefer to go in with you. Then worst case scenario, I mean, we could, if there's a deep part of the cave where there's a narrow opening and we're in a bind, we could do that to hold ourselves out.
Yeah, that's true.
Sounds like
Yeah,
a solid plan. Corben, I'm in agreement. I think your approach is better than mine for sure.
Okay, we should find a place to hide.
We should find a place where we can observe the entrance.
Yeah.
What about the top of this bluff, or would we be able to be on top and kind of look down at the cave?
Could certainly try.
What
Yeah,
about
higher?
Is there
Yep.
any like perceptible like heavy worn track coming out of the cave? Can we tell from here?
Not at the distance that you're at, you can't. You'd have to get a little bit closer to do some reconnaissance.
We should go climbing up the hill.
definitely want to be in a spot where maybe they can't smell us too? Like, say, if the wind's blowing a certain way?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there
they
could
do
be
have
like
a keen
well,
sense of smell.
Yeah, there could be like a well-beaten path that they just charge out of the cave. You know, there's no saying. Yeah, they could smell us.
The other thing too is, what if we light a fire back at that camp
Mm-hmm.
to draw them away further? So it's like we could have something for them to definitely go to in the night.
Mm-hmm.
I like the sound of that. I start making a fire.
Not right where we are right now.
Esmeralda kicks the sticks that you're trying to build a fire with. Not here.
Back like where we were when the guys got snatched.
Not here. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know. Maybe one of us or a couple of us could be up in the trees and be able to fight from above. I don't know what their What is their climbing ability?
they're good climbers.
Hmm.
We're trying to fight as few of these as possible. We want to sneak in,
Yeah.
strategically eliminate the creatures that we have to, get those
Yeah.
children and get out. So if we can avoid the hunting party altogether, that's fine by me.
Well, let's find then maybe it's better that we don't set a fire because we don't want them to even think there's anybody around here. Let's
That's-
find our
that's smart.
hiding place and get set up. The longer we stand out here, the more likely we are to be seen. So we should get a move on.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm with Mara on that one. That definitely sounds a lot more reasonable.
Yeah, that's very smart. All right. We need to stay where we can see each other, though, so we can signal if needed. We want to stay together for this moment until they leave.
Yes, I agree. Is there
Agree.
Are there any like big trees or?
Yeah, you're basically on the edge of this tree line, and it kind of peters out in front of you, so it's thick where you are with some larger trees, and then it's kind of these scrubby, almost like small junipers that are maybe like 12 feet tall in front of you, and then they kind of get sparse as the hillside climbs up to the entrance of this open cave on the side of this rocky bluff.
Maybe we should go around, kind of off to the side of it, so we're just not right out here in the front, like where it opens up into. You know what I mean?
And it's like, so we can see them coming out the door, but not be directly in front of the door.
Yeah.
Or opening, rather. Yeah.
Smart thinking. Let's be stealthy about it, shall we?
All right, and let's be stealthy. And which way is the wind blowing? Let's be downwind of the door, of the opening.
Yeah, so the wind is blowing. So the opening is directly in front of you, up the hill, and the wind is blowing from right to left. So if you went along the left side is where you'd be downwind.
All right.
All right.
Okay, let's go around to the left.
Stealthily. Everybody roll a
should-
stealth check.
Yeah, I'm thinking that I should. Let's see, Pass Without a Trace has a timing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Pass
How much?
Without a Trace has how much time?
How much time? Yeah.
Just Sprig of Mistletoe to 1 hour.
Oh, that's pretty
Well, that
good.
can,
I'm not positive the time to cast it.
well, that could get us. At
Can you
least
cast
in
it more than
place.
once?
I know, but I only got one spell check or one spell slot because I didn't get my dark vision recharged.
Perhaps you should wait and save it for when we enter the cave.
Yeah,
There we go.
probably.
That
Yep.
might be a good idea.
That's a powerful spell that could be of great
Yeah.
use to us.
All right, so we're gonna do a.
We're all doing stealth rolls
Sure.
right now, Dave.
Yep, everybody roll stealth. Oof.
Stan.
Yeah,
Didn't do well.
you should have been a barbarian.
Come on, Dan.
Named Flinta.
Yeah, yeah. Oops.
Again, big off of powdery snow and.
Yep, you kind of stumble and
crunch.
trip, but Marzen reaches out and grabs you, and sort of helps you steady yourself as you sneak your way to the left side of the entrance of the opening to this cave, and you're able to make it. You don't get the sense that you've alerted anybody or anything. And you hunker down in the snow on the tree line amongst the junipers, and you wait and watch the wind howling behind you. Snow starting to fall a little bit. The day starting to wane as the late afternoon starts to give way to evening. And suddenly you hear tss, tss, and you look up. If you weren't already looking, you look up and you see activity and movement at the mouth of this entrance.
I'm gonna pull my two silver daggers out of my bodice and have them at the ready, like in my belt.
Mm-hmm.
I can easily grab them and reach them.
You see a large humanoid creature, hard to make out. It looks like it's potentially a human. He stands out amongst 6 other humanoid creatures that are a little bit smaller than he is. Behind them, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wolves following. You hear Esmeralda says to you, Stan, be calm. Be quiet. And you see these creatures as they move down the hillside. The humanoid individuals that are standing on 2 legs suddenly transform and shift into wolves themselves. And they're not running, they're walking down the hillside. And Esmeralda, she slowly makes her way back to Marzen, and she says, you said you had a horn. Is that true?
Yes.
Give me the horn.
I'll hand it to her.
The 4 of you will infiltrate. Get the children. I will keep an eye on this pack, and I will blow this horn before they even get close to coming back to this entrance. When you hear it, you get the hell out of there. Be quick and free any survivors. If all else fails, meet me back at the wagon. And with that, she puts the horn in her jacket, and you see her sneak off in the direction of the pack that just left the entrance. About the same time, darkness is descending, and you see just the faint glow of light flickering from this almost wolf-like maw of a cave entrance.
Come on, guys, let's move. Let's go.
Yep, we don't have a whole lot of time.
Yep, let's go.
All right, so you're going to make your way up to the entrance.
Stan, you've got dark vision. You go first.
Do you want to do paths without trace now that we're
Yeah.
going in?
We got an hour. Out of the time.
Yeah, I don't expect to stay longer than an hour.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
All right, you guys, you're going to pass cast without a trace. Everybody roll a stealth check with plus 10 from pass without a trace. Is that your last spell slot, Stan?
That dark vision passed without a trace, yes.
Okay.
I still have Hunter's Mark and Cure Wounds.
I don't know how to plus it by 10, so I just did it normal.
You just
stuff.
add 10. What you get? What you roll?
Yeah, so 29.
Do you want-
Yeah, we're all
Health?
good. We're all plenty good so far.
All
Your
right.
tippy toes.
Does Stan need to roll too?
Everybody does.
Stealth?
Yep.
Come on, Stan.
Oh yeah.
Good.
There we go.
36. You're invisible.
All right. So let's see here. Yeah, nice rolls, guys. I'm going to drop you over onto this map over here.
Here we go.
See if you can. See if you can see that. Just double check to make sure your hit points are up to date on all these. I don't know if you guys, if they're fully updated. Corben 44.
No, it's not.
Okay, let's go ahead and make sure those are updated correctly. That's go ahead and update those for me.
Oh, Dave, during our last session, you gave me 3 hit points. I can't remember why. I can't remember if they stayed on or if they were only good for the initiative we were involved in.
No, they wouldn't be permanent.
Okay.
I don't remember what that would have been, but
Dave, the other little blue circle, is that your AC?
yeah. So Corben, you have 58 hit points, Marzen 42, Stan 51, and what's yours, Mara?
53.
Okay. Get these updated here. All right. So you see where you're at on the map. You are to the west of the entrance in the places that I've got you placed there on the map. What would you like to do?
Enter
So-
the cave. Yep.
What's the marching order?
I guess.
Might as well send me out first.
And just to make sure everybody realizes that you have to stay within 30 feet of Stan in order to gain the benefits of Pass Without a Trace.
And are these 10-foot squares on this map?
They are. That's why you're the size that you are. Each one of the
Yeah.
squares is 10 feet. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Good question.
And I don't quite understand where the entrance to the cave is.
Over here.
Okay.
So Stan, you're going to be in front.
Yep.
Okay.
It's my 30 feet.
Yeah,
I'll take a second.
Let's do this. Why don't you guys roll initiative?
As well.
Not bad.
Oh, crap.
Arn's ready to roll.
All right. And wait for you guys to catch up. You guys stay close.
All right. So, Mara, as you get closer, well, actually, everybody can see this. The open jaws, quote unquote, of this wolf's head of the cave entrance form 15-foot high canopy over the cave mouth, and they're held up by these right here, these pillars that almost seem to look like giant incisors and canines. The ceiling rises to a height of 20 feet inside the cave, and you can see the faint glow of torchlight. You can see across here, once you get a little bit closer, you'll be able to see the torches. And Stanley, you hear the faint sound of the sound of a flute from inside the cave, just echoing lightly. You're the only one that picks it up at this point.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go with this. Mara, it's your turn at this point. What would you like to do?
I'm going to kind of tiptoe and peek around the corner here because I want to see what's going on in here.
Okay. Are you gonna? Do you want to move or? Okay.
I am moving her.
So
I'm
as
just
you get
trying-
into
I'm
position right
I'm-
there, you
I'm
can
sorry, I'm
see
just-
that there are iron sconces on the cavern walls.
It's just adjusting my-
Roll a perception check for me. Nice. You can see two figures inside on a small raised platform.
Okay, I'm gonna.
You can see that the
just take-
cave kind of splits to the left and the right. And there's on this 5-foot ledge between this divide, there are two rather feral looking women that seem to be wearing shredded clothing and clutching spears.
Okay. I'm gonna just take a step back and whisper what I see to these guys. Very, very whisper.
Fair enough.
You guys, it looks like there's two guards in there. They look kind of raggedy, like they might be some kind of werewolf something. They don't look quite right to me. So they're right inside on a platform. There's two of them. That's where we're at.
I get silence at their location, and we could attack them quick. That way, they can't yell out for any other help.
Sounds good.
What do you think? Should
So,
I shoot both of them with the bow? See where it goes from there?
I think we all should pretty much bum rush them as soon as I cast it.
Before we go in, does anybody Would anybody benefit from the use of a magic weapon?
I have 4 silver arrows, and I have no other magic weapons.
Marzen, you have some ability with your blade, correct?
Yeah. If you're willing to part with it, I could probably.
Well, I was
Use it.
just thinking I could bless Stan's weapons.
Yeah, that's fine.
Unless I'm trying to think of like who would need it the most.
I
So-
only have a silver dagger, so if you make my axe magic, that'll probably help me out a little bit. Stan could probably shoot and retrieve the arrows, but it's up to him.
Didn't you have some flaming weapon?
I have magic I could use.
So you can enhance your attacks.
Yeah, but it uses magic too.
Because Stan, you can't really enhance your attacks at all, correct?
No, not other than my 4 silver arrows and my vial of fire thing.
Alchemist fire.
Alchemist fire. I have the vial.
Okay,
For stuff
I-
against the bad guys.
Dave, I'm gonna cast magic weapon on Stan's bow.
Okay.
Hey guys, we're
That'll help.
hey
that is
guys.
a level 2 spell. Did that show up?
Not in the chat.
Hey Stan, just wondering like how many spell slots you've used.
I've
You
used.
look like you have -1 second level spell slots on your character sheet.
How did that happen? I used 1 dark vision and 1 pass without a trace.
Okay, so then that should be 0.
It should be 0. I don't understand why it was -1. It was 0 last time I looked at it.
Okay, Stan, you now have +1 bonus to attack and damage.
Excellent.
And your weapon is considered magic.
Nice. So that lasts for 1 hour, and as long as you're able to concentrate, Corben.
Ooh, okay.
So,
I didn't realize the concentration part, but still,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
so we're gonna make this little. Let's see what would be a good concentration. How about this guy?
All right.
Okay,
So
guys,
just remember
guys,
that if you take damage, you have to make a Constitution saving throw to maintain that spell.
Okay.
I'll remember that as well. But all right.
Okay,
Go ahead,
guys.
Mara.
I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna throw a fireball. Since all you guys will be behind me for a change, I'm gonna throw a fireball because I can go around the corner with this, and it's a 20-foot radius sphere, and to kind of hit them straight up, and then you guys come in right after me. All right?
You don't want me to silence them beforehand?
I mean, that
Oh,
might
yes,
make a lot
yes.
of noise
Yes.
if we want
Yes.
to be stealthy.
Yes. Silence first, for sure.
All right.
That is a good point.
What was that?
We may want to be stealthy with this. I think a fireball might cause some kind of explosion, correct?
Well, it's gonna.
Yeah.
They-
Read the
Here,
Read the
I'll,
spell.
I'll.
Here's the part in particular.
Yeah.
Explosion?
Roar into an explosion of flame. All right, so maybe I won't do a fireball then.
So, stealth attacks to kill him as quick as possible. Take him down.
What does your silence do?
It makes I'll just link it.
Okay.
20-foot radius, immune to any noise.
What's the
So
distance
you'll
on that?
cast it on them.
120 feet. So it'd be
they're
centered
also
on them, but
deafened.
and as soon as they leave, though, they could hear. So,
Right.
but if they yell out, the whole place that's silent.
Mara, was there any way that you could see that we could sneak in?
No, it's sort of like a flat, almost like a, I don't know, a stage, if you will, kind of sticking out, and they're kind of
How,
on the end of it.
and how
Like
far in
imagine,
was that?
oh, I'd have to look again to see how many feet. It's a little bit of a ways. If I was to, I'm going by my memory here, 60 to 80 feet.
So further than we can run.
Yeah, I think so. I've got scorching. I could do scorching ray. That's a quieter fire kind of spell.
So from
I
that
got it.
corner to the platform is 50 feet.
Okay.
Okay, so
And Mara would have seen that.
we could dash in there, but they'll see us.
You got to take those
Yeah.
two.
Right. That's why I thought I could step around this edge and just throw some fire at them, and then you guys can come in right behind me. That was my. I could use scorching ray instead of fireball, and it'll be quieter, and still be fiery. And we know they don't like that.
Well, and we definitely want Marzen to silence them first, I would think.
Yes,
We don't-
absolutely.
I mean, they probably have the ability to raise some kind of alarm.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
guessing.
absolutely. So yeah,
so
let's
silence
go.
them and we all attack them, right?
Sure.
That's
Silence.
easy.
That's about it. Yep.
Yep.
So if you need a
Silence,
button rush them, button rush them. Yep,
Yep.
exactly.
Okay.
All right, Marzen.
Yeah.
You're going to get over to the corner there. I think you're muted.
Yeah, I'm muted. Sorry.
It's all right.
I'm gonna move right here. Do I need a stealth so before casting it, or
Yeah, if you're going to move there, you're going to need to stealth. So roll a stealth check.
all right?
Then it's like plus 10 or some shit because I still have my
Yep.
spell on.
It's plus
Without a
10.
trace.
Pass without a trace. It's still active.
Hopefully, I don't roll on that one.
There you
So
go.
28.
Okay, so you sneak around the edge of this thing and you look and you can finally see the entrance to this cavern. And you see how the cave splits to the left and the right. And on this little ledge in the middle of this cavern, you see two women standing there. They don't seem to have noticed your presence.
Are they looking in my direction?
They're kind of talking to each other and they're kind of looking out. You know, they're guarding, so they're looking out and keeping an eye on the entrance, but they're chatting with each other. They're not super concerned about anything at this point.
All right. I will cast silence on them.
Okay, you're gonna kind of drop it
centered
right,
on the
right in
location?
between them.
Yep.
And it's so it
Then-
will be able to get them both because it's a 20-foot radius sphere. Yeah,
Yep.
sphere.
Then, as a reaction, I'm gonna yell "Go!"
Okay.
or not yell, but like whisper to them, like "Go now."
Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna try to figure out how to draw a sphere. There it is. Wow. 10-foot radius. Is that correct? Yeah.
20-foot
20
radius.
foot radius. Actually, it would be more like that.
All right, so we're all charging in there, correct?
That's what you guys
Okay.
already decided. So like right about there.
Yep, perfect.
Okay. So you cast the spell. Okay. All right. You guys are going to get a surprise round on them because they didn't see Marzen and he was effectively cast a spell. Now, just to be fair, they do realize that all of a sudden they can't hear each other talking.
Yep.
So they know something's
Yep.
up. But
Yeah,
Corben,
that's why I
it
tell
is
them.
your turn.
All
You
right,
have
so
the-
I'm gonna
it's your
just-
action.
1, 2.
Oh, and Marzen, you're also concentrating.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right.
As you
Use my
enter
dash
this
action.
area, your hearing is gone as well, Corben. You can't hear anything.
Okay. just looking around. I used my dash action to get this far, so.
Gotcha.
That's
All right, Stan. Your turn,
I
buddy.
can't see where they went.
Nope. You have to move so that you can see around the corner.
All right. Go 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's 20
Can I
feet.
see both guards from where I am right now?
I don't know. Can you? You tell me. You can. You should be able to either see him or not see
you
him.
should be able to see him. Once you get far enough, you should be able to see him.
My guess is probably not, from what you're saying. And you're also on top of Mara, so you can't stop there. You have to keep moving or go somewhere else. You can't go there. That's a rock. You can't occupy. You can't move through this space, Stan. I don't know what you're doing, but
All right, that's where I was. That was
Just go right here. You'll be able.
Could post up somewhere down here by this post or something. There you go.
Yep.
That works.
all right. Now, what do you want to do?
understand exactly what I see with the diamond-looking thing. Is that the guard?
The what?
No, that's Corben. These are those guys
See him up
right
here?
here.
You might.
I was totally mistaken. I thought that was
No, this is Corben.
directly to myself.
What are you going to do, Stan?
I want to shoot an
the
arrow
clock
at
is ticking.
somebody.
Stan, you see these guys?
You can't move there, Stan. You already moved 30 feet.
Okay.
You see these two, right?
All right, Stan. You got to do something or we're going to move on.
Drop
All
the
right.
hammer.
I want to. I can't ping, but to the one on the right, I want to cast Hunter's Mark.
Okay. Bonus action, Hunter's Mark.
And then I want to fire an arrow.
What kind of arrow are you firing?
Good question. Standard arrow.
Mara, you're
Yeah, I
next, so just get ready
I would
for your
save
turn.
them for the biggie, the baddies.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, you have a magic weapon right now for an hour,
Yeah. I have a magic weapon right now for an hour, and I'm gonna.
and it gives you +1 attack, +1 damage.
Come on,
Hunter's
Stan.
Mark
What are you
is
going to do, buddy?
Longbow.
You fire an arrow, and it. Let's see.
It would be a 13.
Yeah, that hits. Your arrow flies into this woman as she's standing there, and she takes it right in the chest.
13 piercing.
Nice roll.
Yeah.
Right, and then bonus action, I want to.
You already used your bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark, but you do have an extra attack.
Extra attack. I want to shoot at the other one.
Okay. Yeah, that hits for 9 damage. Yeah, absolutely. You
Wow.
pluck one arrow in each one of them, and these are just normal arrows. Is that right?
Yeah, those are just normal arrows.
Got it. All right, Mara, your turn.
Okay. Hold on a second. I grabbed the wrong thing here. Hold on. And I'm going to hit. I'm going to do Scorching Ray, and because Corben's in my way, it's gonna all be on this one right here,
Okay.
on the right.
Sorry about that.
And that take it that skull is the silence thing. Is that correct?
No, the skull is Stan's Hunter's Mark, which doesn't
Oh,
affect
okay.
you at all.
Yep, got it. All right.
The
so
red
here we
circle
go.
is the zone of silence.
Yep.
Jesus. Yeah, they all hit. Nice. Boom, boom, boom. Total damage, add it up for me. Saves me some time while I'm doing some other stuff.
14, 23.
Thank you. Yeah, 3 blasts of flame energy. You don't hear the explosion though, but you hear the as they fire off from Mara. And you can just watch as this individual, it's almost like a silent movie. She just reels backwards and tries to maintain her balance, is able to stay on her feet, but she looks pretty rough. Anything else, Mara?
No. I'm going to oh, that's it.
All right. Corben, you get a front row view as the one that just took damage. She transforms in front of your eyes into a werewolf. You don't hear anything, but you can see that she's growling at you.
Oh boy.
And then she's going to move 35, 40. And when she gets outside of the zone, she doesn't know where the zone ends, but she's growling, and you hear this loud. Corben, you don't hear it, but everybody else hears it echoing as it echoes out of the cave entrance. Marzen, you're up. Corben, you're on deck.
I'll move 30 feet. 5. Oh, shit. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And as this one hasn't taken damage yet?
No, it did take an arrow from Stan.
It did?
Mhm.
All right, I'm going to Toll the Dead on it.
Okay. Is that a
Wisdom save throw.
Got it. Wisdom saving throw. Wisdom save.
Sorry, I have
Oof.
advantage.
Natural 20.
Oh.
All right. So, I don't think it takes anything.
I don't think so either. Okay. Anything
Nope.
else, Marzen?
Go. That'll be it.
Corben, your turn. Stan, you're next. So get ready.
Okay. This little thing in front of me, is this something I can climb up?
Yeah, it's 5 foot.
Okay. I will, let's see. Think here. Alright, I'm gonna draw my sword. Get up here. 1. And attack this one.
Okay.
And
Oh, what are you going to attack it with?
I will attack with my sword, but using Divine Smite.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, I'll add my Divine Smite to that. Just hold on. Take that dueling style after
So
the
it's
second.
just the 8?
Yeah.
So a total of 15 damage?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. You have another
And-
attack, don't you?
Yes. Oh man.
Stan, you're up next.
Yep.
Every time I do that, I drop a spell slot. Oops. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll go again.
Okay. Second attack.
Sorry.
That also hits.
Okay, I will add another smite to that one.
Okay.
Oops. Sorry.
Nice.
Woo!
That's huge.
Alright.
So another 13.
So it's
20 total.
20 total for that one.
2 explosive attacks as you watch Corben hurtle up onto this platform, swinging his sword and just carving this sentry right to left and then left to right, and it just opens up and sprays blood on the stone floor. But you don't hear anything because it's in this crazy zone of silence. All right, Stan, you're up.
I want to go after the one with Hunter's Mark on it. I want to shoot a silvered arrow.
Okay. With your longbow?
So yep, with the longbow.
Okay.
So I shoot longbow first, right? Yes.
Yep. It misses, and the silver arrow goes flying past it into the cavern.
Second attack, I'm going to try it again.
Okay. With the second silver arrow.
Yeah.
The weapons still count.
Yeah, 19 hits, and for 7 damage. You hit it in the back as it's running away.
And then Hunter's Mark
Yep, and Colossus Slayer.
and Colossus Slayer.
Okay, 11.
Click on that side.
Nice.
Wow, nice. So a total of 19 damage. As the second arrow smacks it in the back, you watch as it stumbles down the stairs, falls to its knees, but keeps moving. All right, so that brings us to...
All right, and then I'd like to move up as well.
Yeah, go ahead. You can move up to 30 feet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is 30 feet.
Yeah, each
Right there.
movement is 5 feet. All right.
Yep.
So, let's see, Corben. The woman that you're attacking, you just see this look of fear on her face, and she is going to try to attack you with her spear.
Right.
I'm going to warding flare.
Okay. So she'll have disadvantage. 19.
That hits. A disadvantage?
Yep, I rolled a 22 and a 19.
Okay, yeah, that hits.
4 piercing damage.
Okay.
And she makes a second attack. 13. I'm thinking that probably misses.
Yep, that misses.
Okay, so she jabs you with her spear with the first attack. It makes its way in between the plates of your armor for 4 piercing damage. You're able to use your sword to parry her second attack out of the way. That brings us to this guy. Let's see here. He has... Okay, so he's going to transform and move. Okay. The wolves.
God.
Holy Christ, there's a lot of them.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, so... Hold on. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40.
Ah! What?
What was that?
see
What?
anything.
2,
You
4, 6,
let's
8,
see,
10.
Marzen, you can see this. Corben, you probably don't notice it yet because you're fighting. But Marzen and Mara, you definitely see it, and maybe Stan, you can just barely glimpse that there's a battalion of wolves coming around the corner. Mara, you're up.
Jesus, you guys, we got to get out of here.
We gotta get back together. We can't be all spread out like this.
Right. But Corben, you can't hear.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move 1, 2, so I can get close enough to these guys and just say, guys, we got to get out of here. Got to get Corben's attention, and I'm gonna cast spiritual weapon on this one right here. Get him out of danger if I can.
The one that's up on the platform.
Yep, the one
Okay.
that's up on the platform.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, I thought I pinged it.
I
All
was
right.
I was doing something else. Okay, great.
Okay,
So
okay.
you cast your spiritual weapon, and where do you want to put it?
I'm putting it right there for the moment. 'Cause I
You
wanna-
need to put it in a space somewhere like next to her.
Okay. Like right there.
There it is.
There we go.
Hopefully you're able to grab it and move it. All right, so go ahead and let's see. What do I make for a spiritual weapon? Remind me.
Mace.
Do
She
I-
rolled a 25 on that.
Oh, that's the roll to hit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, got it. Yeah, you clobber her with your spiritual mace. Comes down on her head, and she just, Corben, you can see her eyes just kind of go cross-eyed as she sort of. You can tell she like has no idea what's going on, but she's still standing there in front of you. So that was your bonus action, Mara. What's your action?
I'm gonna clobber her again. The spiritual weapon.
I think spiritual weapon you can only use during your bonus action.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna move it. Then I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna move the
Spiritual weapon.
And I can't move it.
When you cast a
so-
spell, you make a melee spell attack against the creature. As a
Oh.
bonus action on your turn, you can move the weapon up to 20 feet and repeat an attack. So you can do that next time you've
Right.
already used your bonus action. So you need to, whatever, you might have a different action that you want to use, or you've used your bonus action.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'm confused. I
Yeah.
thought that my attack was the
Bonus
do this
action.
every time with the spiritual weapon.
You have an
so
you have an
my-
action and movement still.
Right.
So what do you want to do?
So my action is going to be to I'm gonna cast another scorching ray. Actually, I don't know if I have.
You
I'm
can't.
gonna move.
You cannot do that because you've already cast a spell this turn.
Oh, then I'm just gonna move closer to these guys. So I can see if I can be of help. That's it.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna do.
Let's see. We got Devanica and then Marzen. You're next. Devanica is going to. She is going to move away. She's going to try to get the hell out of there. Marzen, you're up. Corben, you're on deck.
All right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Marzen, or Corben, real quick. Sorry, Marzen. When did you take your damage? It was from a spear attack, right? I need you to make a Constitution save real quick. Forgot to do that before.
Sorry, Corben does?
Yeah, because you took damage. Remember, you have to maintain concentration for your spell.
Oh, Constitution saving, you
Yep.
said?
Yeah, please. Yeah,
19.
you're fine. All right, Marzen. So you move up.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm gonna move all the way up. Use the action to dash.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna yell out to the werewolves, "Surrender now, or and we'll let you live." And then that'll be my turn.
Okay. Corben, you're up. Stan, you're on deck.
All right. Well, I gotta deal with what's in front of me here. All right, so I'm gonna make another attack. Here we go.
Oh yeah. 7 damage.
Yep.
Yeah, you just cut her basically in half, and she just slumps to the ground in front of you.
Nice.
Yay.
Okay.
You still have movement. You have you have your extra attack, and you have a bonus action.
I'm going to I'm gonna look over, seeing all those wolves, and I'll just be like 1, 2, 3, 5. Outside the cone of outside of the ring of silence,
Okay.
and
Circle of trust.
yeah. I guess I'll just can't.
We're not
reach
in
for-
Kansas anymore.
No. I think we need to get together more. I'm just gonna say, stay together. That's my turn.
All right, Stan, your turn. You're probably muted.
I'm going to move in order to see the creature that has Hunter's Mark. So I moved 5 to the side. And then I'm going to fire an arrow, a standard one, into my Hunter's Mark person.
All right, you can certainly try. There's a lot of traffic in there, but yeah, go ahead if you want to.
There's not that much traffic. She's the one on the
I know which one she is.
side left.
She's right here.
Yeah, you know which one she is.
Yep, she's right there.
Nice.
Yeah, you fly the arrow between Corben and Marzen, and it strikes her.
And can I use +1 damage on the spell that I have? I guess
Yes.
I need to.
Plus,
ten.
it's already applied. She goes down.
And then here's Hunter's Mark damage.
Oh, she's out.
Yeah, she's dead.
Okay.
Dropped her.
Yep.
And
Nice shot.
then all of those are wolves. Where's the other guard?
Right
The
here.
guard. I want to transfer
Dead.
Hunter's Mark. Dead.
This one I killed already.
Okay.
There's more back here, though.
Yeah. I want to transfer my Hunter's Mark to that wolf that's just to the right side of the original Hunter's Mark person.
Right here.
Yep.
Okay.
And shoot one more arrow that way.
Go ahead.
Standard arrow.
Yeah, that hits.
And then
Hunter's Mark damage.
here's Hunter's Mark damage.
Total damage is
10 plus 4, 14.
plus you have a magical weapon, so it's actually +1, so it's 15.
15.
Yeah, that one goes down too. All right.
And then I'd
you
like to
you still
use-
have movement and
use the rest of my movement to move up 1, 2, right there.
okay.
I want to stay out of the cone of silence.
Corben and Marzen, you shouted out to surrender to these creatures, and you just hear this in this kind of gravelly voice. You hear, "You will pay for this intrusion." And we're gonna end there for tonight, and we'll pick up with the battle next time we play.
Wow.
You mean the slaughter of wolves
Yep,
next time we play?
exactly.
Oh boy, there's a lot of them too.